Next up, we got MLB's new rules are saving baseball, and people hate it. Now, I don't know what you mean by this. I don't even know. Really, I didn't even know what new rules are even in store. I only know them basic little rules. You know what I'm saying? I really, and I really forgot even those rules. Just because I haven't played baseball since like 2017. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot, bro. But anyways, if y'all want more MLB content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. All right. Now I know y'all love baseball doesn't exist videos, so we back with them. All right. Y'all let me know also to what other videos you want me to react to. Yeah. Let's see what it been time. But
this is now illegal in baseball. This is now illegal in baseball. And this is now illegal in baseball. MLB has just implemented some of the most drastic rule changes in modern sports history over.
Bro, you mean tell me you can't jog? I mean, you can't hop into your stand? That's literally a thing. Hop into your stance, bro. What?
Night. Rules that will cause more action, more hits, more web gems, and pretty much everything that MLB fans like, all condensed in a shorter period of time. It's also going to cause complete chaos. Pitchers like Max Scherzer have already found loopholes and have manipulated this rule so much that MLB has had to make changes within the first month. An unprecedented amount of umpires have quit, and these rules are probably a big reason why. Some players and managers hate them and have been ejected because of them. Pitchers are becoming their own catchers. It's caused the fastest strikeouts in history, caused some of the slowest pitches in history, and has caused some fans to absolutely lose their minds.
I think that they should scrap it before the season starts. They are ruining the integrity of the game.
These rules will change baseball for the better for years to come. But before we get to that point, it will cause complete mayhem. In September, MLB announced 3 key new rules. Shifts are now restricted. The amount of pickoffs a pitcher can make is now limited. And now, for the first time ever, there is a pitch timer. This seems pretty simple, but it's not. Because just in the first 3 days of spring training, there were 69 pitch clock violations. In the very first inning, Manny Machado was given the first one in Major League history. James Karinchak was given one because...
See, the thing about it, I thought, actually, I now I think about it, hasn't never been a pitch timer, now I think about it. But I feel like, bro, it should have been always. But how long is the pitch timer? Is it 10 seconds? You know what I'm saying? Because it is sometimes that the pitcher do be taking all day. Like, he'll wind up and then just stand there for another, like, 10 seconds and then throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that, okay. But how long is the timer, bro? Is it a fair amount of time, or is it... Oh, 5 seconds. As soon as you step on the mound, you have to pitch.
He asked for a new ball. And then, in the bottom of the first inning, Manny Machado was given the first one in Major League history. James Karinchak was given one because he asked for a new ball. And then, in the bottom of the ninth, with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and a full count in a tie game, the umpire called time. The pitcher thought the violation was on him. The batter thought the violation was on the pitcher, and each team both thought the Braves won the game. In reality, this violation was on the hitter, ending the game on an automatic strike, even though there were 7 seconds left on the clock. This was the right call, but a lot of people lost their minds.
It's day one and I hate it.
I hate it. I hate this new pitch clock. It's a joke.
This MLB pitch count is crap.
But MLB has been trying to speed up games for over a century. This latest attempt started 8 years ago, which resulted in rules that were so unpopular they don't work because players just ignore them. In 2015, MLB announced a new rule that required every batter to leave 1 foot in the box between pitches.
I call that bullshit.
Hitters, specifically David Ortiz, hated it.
I got it. I'm not gonna change my game. I don't care what they say.
Wait a minute. So you can't fully step out of the batter's box, bro. Honestly, bro, trying to speed up the game. Like, this is hilarious, bro. I feel like it should all be like a constant motion. I feel like by the time, like, okay, so let's say like by the time, right, the pitcher throws a ball, right, bang, strike. Then by the time the catcher throws it back to the what's the name, and then he gets back on the mound, you should be ready again. The batter should be ready. I feel like in that time since when, you know what I'm saying, that whole time you should be able to do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hit your, because I used to do all that, bro. I used to touch the plate. I used to hit my shoes, bro. That hitting your shoes thing, get the dirt off, bro. That's such satisfying to me. I used to love doing that at the batter's box. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do it like.
With exceptions to a few circumstances, if hitters failed to stay in the box between pitches, they were to be fined $500.
It's only a $500 fine.
Well, I might run out of money.
At first, most players followed the rule while others ignored it, but as time went on, so many players started ignoring it, it seems like MLB couldn't keep up with the fines, and since there wasn't really any punishment for stepping out of the box, everyone started doing it again. Despite this rule, time between pitches actually increased by an entire second in 2015, making a problem that people in baseball have been trying to fix for over a century even worse. According to this article written in 1909, the commissioner of baseball started complaining that games were too long all the way back then. The average game length was 1 hour and 45 minutes. In 1925, the American League started requiring teams to send a written report explaining each delay every time a game went over 2 hours. In the 50s, the players started complaining that games were too long. The average game was 2 hours and 20 minutes. Since then, MLB has done almost everything to speed up games. Just since 2015, they put a clock in each stadium requiring each pitcher to stop warming up by the time it gets to 30. Managers now have to challenge plays from the dugouts. They've limited the amount of mound visits, implemented a 3-batter minimum for pitchers, 7-inning doubleheaders, and even placed a ghost runner on second in extra innings. This whole time, MLB wanted to implement a pitch clock, but players refused to agree to it, leading MLB to make a warning. If these rules work and games speed up, good. If not, they will implement a pitch clock whether the players like it or not. And that's exactly what happened. Despite these rules, games actually increased in time pretty much every year, peaking in 2021, where the average game was 23 minutes longer than in 1998, leading MLB to announce, starting in 2023, pitchers will now have 15 seconds to throw a pitch with no one on base. With runners on base, they have 20 seconds, and batters must be in the box ready to hit with 8 seconds left on the clock. This seems straightforward. In reality, pitchers like Max Scherzer have already been able to manipulate this rule so much that within a month, MLB has already been forced to change it to stop a loophole that has almost caused a war. Max Scherzer has always pitched quickly, saying the only reason he didn't pitch quicker was because hitters could just call time. But according to the new rules, hitters are only allowed to call time once every at-bat. If not, they could just keep calling time, making the pitch clock irrelevant. So in his first spring training start, Scherzer got to the mound early and held onto the ball as long as possible, baiting hitters into calling time. Since batters already used their only timeout, he could just hold onto the ball as long as possible, making them extremely uncomfortable, or throw a pitch the second they got into the box, giving them zero time to react.
Oh, this dude's smart as hell. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, that's smart. That is, bro. You know how awkward that is, bro. Like, bro, bro, that nigga just standing there staring at you like for 20 seconds, though, bro. You know how long, bro? 20 seconds gonna feel like 20 minutes, bro. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny.
Scherzer took this to the extreme, once holding onto a ball too long, getting a violation. Another time, throwing a pitch before the batter was even looking, causing a balk. But when done correctly, a pitcher can start their motion the second the batter looks at them, and without the ability to call time, basically, they have no chance. You've never been allowed to pitch while the batter wasn't looking, but thanks to the new Scherzer rule, you can no longer even come set on the mound until the batter is ready in the box. Cade Cavalli was guilty of this earlier in spring. He came set well before Luis Guillermo was paying attention. He then quick pitched him, and the two started cursing each other out. but thanks to the Scherzer rule, this is now illegal. But assuming batters are in the box ready to hit, pitchers are still expected to pitch within 20 seconds with runners on base. This is a problem for pitchers trying to get signs from a catcher who is trying to prevent runners from stealing signs, which can take forever. So this year, for the first time ever, pitchers are becoming their own catchers. Last year, MLB introduced the pitch comp system,
What the fuck is this Iron Man, nigga? The hell that got going on?
allows catchers to tell pitchers what pitch to throw electronically. But now, to save even more time, they are telling the catcher what pitch they are going to throw. This spring, Max Scherzer and Zach Greinke started this trend, and way more have followed. They no longer have to waste time shaking off pitches. However, this spring, Zach Greinke has shaken off his own pitch multiple times. But players are not the only ones under pressure to adjust, because bat boys' jobs just got a lot harder, and according to MLB, some of them may be getting fired. After this play, Javi Baez was called for a pitch clock violation, but it was actually the bat boy's fault. Baez wasn't in the box because he was waiting for the bat boy to leave the field. This incident led MLB to release a memo that says for the first time ever, they will be evaluating bat boys. If these evaluations show that certain bat boys are too slow, they will contact the teams and ask them to replace the bat boy.
That should have already been a thing. Why are we just talking about this now? The bat boy should have. That's like the number one thing as any. It don't matter if you're a bad boy. It don't, because I used to be a caddy, a golf caddy. Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's like when you're carrying the bags for the person that's golfing. You know what I'm saying? You carry all their golf clubs. So I used to do that. Bro, you can't just be slow. You know what I'm saying? This dude is. He said he asked for a 9-iron. Give him a 9-iron. You know what I'm saying? Hurry up and do it. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be slow. That's the number one thing, bro. Whenever you're like your designated position is to help somebody, that's your number one thing.
All of a sudden, a slow bat boy is a big deal because it forces clock operators to delay the start of the clock.
Oh my
In
God.
order for the pitch clock to be effective and fair, it needs to start and end at the same time for everyone, which is why this is now illegal. But before we get to that, a quick word from today's sponsor.
I thought you were about to fight the
Baseball is
ref.
finally back, and thanks to today's sponsor,
Hey.
its youth bonus offer 100 set before they can make a pitch. If not, it's a balk and the runner advances. Richard Blyer had never balked in his entire career until the umpire decided he didn't pause long enough while coming set. Blyer disagreed. 2 pitches later, the umpire called another balk.
What?
Blyer disagreed again. Then, moments later, the umpire called a third balk on him. The third balk in 5 pitches, literally balking in a run, which had never happened in MLB history, but starting this year, it could happen a lot more. Blyer has an argument that he did come sets and none of these are balks, but other pitchers have been breaking this rule and getting away for it for years by doing things like this. The pitch clock stops.
Oh hell no! That's cheating. Now that's right there is cheating. I was about to say this dude coming to a set, like it don't matter how. Like, if he's come to a set, as long as he stops, all you do is stop. It don't matter how long it is. Maybe you stop for 1,000, 2 1,000, then throw, okay. But no, this dude, this dude right here,
getting away for it for years by doing
this dude right here is crazy. No, he's crazy. No, that is cheating.
things like this. The pitch clock stops when a pitcher's motion begins, but if you're constantly tapping your toe, it's hard to tell if the motion begins at the first toe tap or the last one, meaning that Kevin Gausman and others can no longer do this. MLB has also outlawed long, excessive motions like this, shutting down a
unnecessary,
loophole
bro.
that would theoretically allow a pitcher with a 7-second windup to add 7 seconds
The fuck
to
is
the
you
pitch clock
doing?
every single pitch. But
No, I this is my last time pause it. I understand, like, okay, you know, you got your own little shit. Maybe it's some like religious thing, or how every time you pitch you gotta wind up and do the hanky panky and fucking, you know what I'm saying, dance, whatever you want to do. Okay, I understand that, but at the some point in time, bro, come on, bro. You don't need to do all that shit, bro. Look at this nigga, bro.
to add 7 seconds to the pitch clock every single.
What did that help you with? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing.
Pitch. But the biggest loophole teams have found so far has nothing to do with the pitch clock. It has to do with the shift. Although most fans may think the shift is now banned, teams are legally still doing this. MLB has limited the shift by requiring all infielders to play on the dirt. It also forces 2 infielders to play on each side of the bag. This prevents defensive positions like this, which greatly limit the effectiveness of left-handed pull hitters. But earlier in spring, the Red Sox did this, but since they moved their left fielder into shallow right instead of an infielder, it is technically legal. The amount of shifts being used in MLB has increased by 858.3% in the last 9 years alone. Last season, a shift was used 34% of the time. Advanced data and analytics means pretty much every team has a perfect formula to position players in a way that makes hitting as hard as possible. For these teams, it's awesome. For hitters and for fans, it sucks because it means less hits and less action. But because of this new rule, this is now illegal. Yes, this strikeout was nullified because the Twins' second baseman was standing here. This seems nitpicky, but for MLB, it will pay off. Not only does less shifting mean more offense, it means better defense. Infielders are now required to cover more ground, make more diving plays, and can't rely on being placed in the perfect position every time. But this is not the only area that you can expect more action this year. In 1980, Rickey Henderson led the league with 100 stolen bases. The top 2 base stealers last year had 76 combined. Teams don't want their players to steal anymore because they are worried about injuries, and according to the analytics, the risk of getting out isn't worth the benefit of being safe. But now, that might change. According to the new rules, pitchers are now only allowed to pick off 3 times per plate appearance. If the third pickoff fails, the runner gets to advance automatically. This rule is necessary to avoid pitchers from resetting the clock whenever they want just by attempting a pickoff. But it also makes stealing a lot easier. MLB has also increased the size of the bases. This makes them safer and also decreases the distance between bases, making stealing even easier. And to MLB's wishes, stolen bases are already up 50% this spring training. These new rules will help almost every aspect of the game that fans love to watch. We know this because, believe it or not, baseball has had all these rules for years. In the minors and independent leagues, players are fighting to make the majors, while MLB basically uses their rules as a science experiment. They've experimented with things as crazy as moving the mound back an entire 2 feet, banning mound visits altogether, a robot umpire, and even allowing players to steal first base. MLB puts these rules in place, then studies the effects. All of the new rules that we'll have in the majors in 2023 have been in the minors, sometimes for years. With bigger bases and limited pickoffs, minor league teams were 10% more likely to be safe on a steal and stole more than twice as frequently as major league teams, meaning that in all likelihood, there will be more steals in MLB this year than in decades. Banning the shift in the minors made the amount of outs made on pulled lines.
Let me know in the comments, man. Do y'all agree with these rules, bro? Do y'all agree?
Drives drop 4%.
Also,
even though
right now we're coming up on almost 20 minutes into the video. All right. Now, if you're watching this far, number 1, I love you. Okay. Thanks for watching this far. Thanks for supporting. All right. Now, to see who's still watching, we'll play a little game. All right. The game is for you to comment a word. The word of the day is rules. Comment rules, and I know who's still watching.
The amount of shifting before the ban was significantly lower than the majors, meaning this year in the majors, there will almost certainly be an increase in hits and offense. The pitch clock in the minors made games 25 minutes shorter than MLB games last season. They also saw the amount of pitch clock violations go from 1.7 violations a game in the first week to only 1 violation every 2 games within a few months once players got used to it. And perhaps the most optimistic news for MLB is that compared to last spring training, the new rules have resulted in more runs, more hits, more steals, games that are 26 minutes shorter, and have already seen the amount of violations go from 2 a game to 1 per game by the 4th week. we can't know for sure what will happen when the season starts. And without a doubt, there will be some confusion at first, but after a while, it looks like MLB will be a better league for everyone.
Hey.